Alert. Boarded.
Hold the audio now unmuted.
Hi.
Renee Rentmeester screen.
Third screen.
Renee Rentmeester has started screen share. Loading page. Loading complete.
Tab. Change screen button menu. Tab. Meeting tab. Tab. Renee Rentmeester screen. More options. Tab. Meeting information. Tab. View button. Tab. Mute. Currently.
You wanna see what we do best? We got the recipe for success. We don't need sight to make something good tonight. We're all in the kitchen, we're gonna show you what we got. Full of the spice and lime, we're stirring up the pot. We're cooking without looking. Cooking without looking. Yeah!
Good afternoon, and welcome to the very first Cooking Without Looking TV show of 2025. Happy New Year, all. I'm Alan Preston, and speaking of new, please welcome my new co-host, Sylvia Stinson Perez. Sylvia?
Hi, Alan. I'm thrilled to be here with you. I'm not really new to Cooking Without Looking, but now I get the joy of co-hosting on a regular basis. And I love cooking and sharing strategies to help people who are blind like me cook
When we
without
love
looking.
having you with us, Sylvia, and you're absolutely right. You've been with us a number of times before. But as I understand it, our host for a long, long time now, Annette Watkins, is leaving. And it's been, my golly, she was there for 23 years. I'm going to miss her, that's for sure. But before we get started with today's show, I'd like to let you guys know that I'm having some camera problems today. That's why I'm hiding. And for those of you who are sighted, that's why you can't see me. Those of you who are totally blind, it's just like always. Before we get started, we want to tell you, our audience members, about an exciting opportunity to obtain your very own official Cooking Without Looking merchandise. You can donate whatever you'd like to the project to help us get it started, get it up and running. But we need to raise, what'd you say, $239, Renee? That's what I see here, to cover our costs.
Well, maybe a little bit less now because Sylvia put some in the pot for her apron and more than just her apron. So we're very grateful for that. Thank you so much, Sylvia.
Thanks, Renee. I can't wait to get my apron.
I know.
Oh, come on, Sylvia, this is your line.
Yes, Alan is already stealing my lines, and I'm the new co-host, and he's already stealing my lines. I don't even know what I'm going to do.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. But I encourage everyone to give at least $35. But be generous because Cooking Without Looking is really making a difference all over the world. And your contribution will help. And you'll get a really cool apron, which Alan would show you if he were on screen.
I'd certainly love to, but unfortunately, anyways, if you donate $35 or more, you will receive an official Cooking Without Looking apron, similar to the one I'm wearing, except the one I have doesn't have pockets.
And we can't really see it
got
today.
to say.
You have to imagine the blue with two pockets and with a little Cooking Without Looking logo on the front. It's beautiful.
It is. It's absolutely wonderful. So, Sylvia.
Alan, I think before we get too far into this, we need to wish Renee happy birthday.
Is it Renee's birthday?
It is.
It is, and you guys are my present. Thank you very much for joining me on my birthday.
Well, happy 29th birthday, Renee.
Well, I say it's only 15 years until I'm 80, so I don't mind. Thank you so much for you guys. You guys have always been my birthday present, whether you know it or not. I'm always very grateful. Before it was you and Annette, now it's you and Sylvia. So I'm grateful for your loyalty and going with someone who said, "Hey, you want to be on a TV show for blind people?" Like it sounds a little bizarre, but it's worked out, and we've done a lot of good work over the years together. So thank you. You guys have been my gifts for many years.
Thank you, Renee. And so I encourage everyone to go and buy themselves a gift of a Cooking Without Looking apron with a donation of $35, but give even more as a gift to Cooking Without Looking so you can help make a difference too. Alan.
Yes,
I think we have a cool guest today, Alan.
What's that?
I think we have a cool guest today.
Yes, I do. I was going to mention our website where they can donate the money at www.cookingwithoutlookingtv.wordpress.com and click on the link. Click on the link at the very top of the page. All right, Sylvia, we'll click on that link and you can help us raise funds while we're raising awareness.
We're getting some background noise. I think other people want to cook with us today, Alan.
I think everybody wants to be with us today.
But we have somebody cool, so
we sure
introduce him.
Now, I'm supposed to introduce him, right?
Yes.
We have Pedro Aguilera.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you.
Did I do that right, Pedro?
Yeah, I'm right here, guys. Thank you, Alan and Sylvia. And thank you for having me as a guest. And Renee sent out the recipe, and hey, I could turn on the flame if y'all want to get started. But just to give a little introduction to myself and who am I and what's my nationality. I was born here, but my mother is from El Salvador, and in El Salvador we have a traditional food that we eat called a pupusa. It is very delicious, and a little bit about me. Well, I'm a techie. I do all kinds of tech stuff and, social media and other things like that. But thanks to Renee for asking me if I wanted to come on. And I thought I think it's going to be a good idea. So, I'm here. So thank you guys for having me on the show.
Well, Pedro, you're president of the Blind United of California. Am I right?
Correct, Alan. Yes, I'm vice president and of Blind United, and something we do is offer Zoom interest groups that pertain to JAWS, pertain to Mac, iPhone, and these are free resources for anyone that might be a high partial, low partial, or blind, and we provide this for free, even for seniors. So we have even movie listening groups. We got crocheting. We got advocating groups. We have all types of different groups, even one with Renee. She'll be joining us in our endeavors.
He comes over. He comes back.
Well, Pedro, that sounds like quite an organization. Tell us a little bit about yourself and about your journey with blindness.
All right. A little bit about me. I've been completely blind for the last 10 to 12 years. I had another condition called retinitis pigmentosa that I was a high partial, you could say. I was able to see everything, and in my 30s, in my early 30s, I lost my vision and went completely dark. As one of my friends says, he went completely dark. So it's been a journey since then. I got more into technology. I got more into helping out people with iPhones and the Mac, and now I'm getting into like Windows and other things like that. It got me into my journey with social media, doing TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and things like that. So I do have my channels, that I do and stuff like that. So it's been a long journey. I met a lot of good people. Got a lot of well people in the blind community and stuff. I got to meet like Renee. She's a good asset, and she helps out a lot. So it's been an interesting journey.
Sounds like you've adjusted to it well, Pedro.
Yeah, you could say that. You could say that. But we all sometimes have our days. Sometimes what we think about. Sometimes we get
Oh,
down.
yeah. I'm
You know.
familiar with that. I bet Sylvia is too.
For sure.
Anyway, Pedro, tell us, what are you making today?
Today I'm making a pupusa, and it consists of corn flour, a can of refried beans, and your favorite shredded cheese, whatever it may be. Um, and it's pretty simple. I'm just making the pupusas, and I'm making the cortido. That's the cabbage that usually go on top. We could save that for the next episode for another one.
Yeah, I got a quick question for you,
Yes.
Pedro. Pupa sauce, what does that mean? A beautiful woman?
Cortido sauce. Well, it doesn't mean beautiful woman, but it means cabbage drenched in I think it's a homemade sauce. They do it, and it is like it's like the filling that you put on top of a cake. The feel. That's the top part of the pupusa.
Oh, he's asking about the meaning of the word papusa.
Oh,
Pupusa, yes, that's it. I'm pronouncing that wrong.
okay. Now I got you. Honestly, I don't know. I have to look that up, but that's the term, and that's the term I'm using.
You know what? I found it online. When I looked up the recipe, it actually said that was another word for it, a beautiful woman. So I thought, well, you know what? I'll just throw that in there. But you can
That's
research
kind of
yourself. You'll probably do a deeper dive on it.
Hey.
Kind of cool.
Mhm.
Anyway, it sounds good to me. So would you like to show us how it's done, Pedro?
Yep.
All right.
So I'm cutting on the fire. I got a flat skillet on my stove for those that can't see. I got it on a low setting. So I already have my bowl of water. I got my corn flour already mixed, pretty firm, able to take shape. It doesn't need to be runny. And I got a little bowl of water to make sure the corn flour doesn't get stuck in my hands, the dough. Okay. So, and then I got a plastic Ziploc bag that I cut the sides so I could lay it flat so I could shape my pupusa instead of usually in our country you do it by hand and you do it with your hands and you make it a complete circle, but I'm teaching you guys a shortcut that helps me being completely blind also. So number one, we're starting with the dough, and I get some dough in my hands. I'm gonna wet my hands a little bit just so the dough won't get stuck.
Pedro, is it just corn flour?
Just corn flour. And then I make it flat. I make it into a disc, you could say.
With some water?
Yeah, with some water. Corn flour mixed with water. Make it to it's firm, and you're able to grip it. And I put water in my hands so the dough won't get really stuck in my hands when I'm trying to shape it. So it's just like drops of water in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you got it like a disc, like a circle, I start doing it like a bowl, like you will have a bowl, like a plate bowl. And from there, I grab the beans. And I'm doing it with my hands so I could get a better feel on how much I'm putting.
Mm-hmm.
So I put the beans in the middle. And then I start closing it up with the dough. Make sure the beans are in the middle.
How do you close it up? Like in a circle, triangle?
Yes, as a sphere. You close it up as a sphere. Now I have it closed up right here in my hands. For those that could see, it's a complete sphere. It's a complete circle. Now I am gonna wet a little bit. Drops of water on the plastic bag. because that's where we're gonna make it flat. I put it on the plastic bag, and then I start pressing and moving towards the edges. Now, as for those that can see, y'all can see that it's a circle and it's becoming flat, and it's becoming a pupusa or flat, almost like a tortilla, not quite. And then I flip the bag over into my hands. Now I got the whole pupusa in my hands, and I put it in the flat skillet.
Pedro, what is the thickness of it?
Yeah,
Not
that's
even
my
too
question,
thick. It's not too thin.
Compare it to a tortilla.
Yeah, it's a little thicker than a tortilla.
A little thicker than a tortilla. That's a brilliant idea to use the Ziploc, by the way. I've tried to make circles make homemade tortillas with they're very interesting shapes I've arrived at. So the Ziploc's a great idea.
Yeah, you put it on the Ziploc bag and you take its shape. I don't know if Renee could see the shape of the tortilla, if it looks complete like a circle. I hope so.
Yes, yes.
So I'm going to put another one in this plastic bag so I can have them ready for the next one that I want to put in the skillet. And I get more dough. And I have to wet my hands a little bit so it won't get stuck in my hands.
You put any oil on your skillet?
No, because the flour is going to suck up the oil.
Okay.
In my belief, in my opinion, I think it sucks it up. And you could put some butter to make it a little buttery, or a little bit of salt in your dough if you like.
I'm just wondering so it doesn't stick to the grill.
It won't stick. Doesn't stick to the flat skillet pan.
Yeah.
He's got a non-stick.
I believe so. Okay. I believe so. And right now I did the bowl. Now I'm pinching the dough to close it up like a full sphere. And that's what I have, a sphere now. Full circle. I wet a little bit of my plastic so the dough won't get stuck. Now I'm pressing down and pushing towards the edges so it could become flat. Mm-hmm. We don't want it completely flat. We want to, we want a good shape. So I have one ready to go. Let me get my spatula. And depending on your heat, it's like 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes and a half before you flip them. What I noticed as a blind person, I touch the top and you could kind of feel the dough cooking on the top, like getting a little more harder. That's when I know to flip. But also I put a timer. No. I have an Apple Watch, guys, that I put a timer 1.5 minutes, or 2 minutes and a half. I didn't do that right now. I wasn't counting. So
you could use a smart device like an Alexa or a Google device as well.
Correct.
That's what I use. Yeah.
I still have an old mechanical timer.
Yeah. What I
that
do
works
is too. For my blind folks, you touch the edge, like the edge of the pupusa, and you could kind of feel the difference between the center and the edge, and that's how you kind of could start knowing if you need to flip it. And for me, I think it's time to flip it. So
you better flip that pupusa.
Yeah, it's there, T. It's there. It's flipped. Boom. Now we're waiting. Let's set a timer for 1.5 minutes.
And you said low heat, right, Pedro?
Yes, I have it in low heat. You could do it in a higher heat. It will cook faster.
Way faster.
But since sometimes you're blind and you want to put your hand on the flat skillet, like above the pupusa, sometimes depending on your heat tolerance and stuff.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. And you have to be super careful about that because you could burn yourself. So you got to know what you're doing and know where your hand is, know where the pan is, know where the food you're touching is. And there are some heat resistant gloves that you can buy.
Correct.
Yeah. I don't use any, because I do exactly what you're talking about, but cooking it on lower allows you a little bit more to do that.
Yes, and it allows me to sometimes touch the edges to see where the pan, because sometimes us as blind folks we want to see, but even having fingertip gloves just for your fingertips, just touch a little bit so they won't really burn you. I
Mhm.
touch real fast, to tell the truth. You know, I don't really mess with too much oil because oil jumps up too.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so I think this one might be ready. So I'm gonna flip it one more time to make sure. Make sure it cooks all the way.
How can you tell when it's cooked all the way through? Is it kind of a firmer texture?
Yeah, it's a firmer texture. You can feel it. It's like cooking a tortilla, like Sylvia said. You could feel it when it's cooked. You just gotta make sure that it's cooked all the way. The thicker you do it, the more
Mhm.
you're gonna have to leave it on the flame cooking. You know? And this one is about to be done. I'm just letting it sit there. The 1 minute and a half just passed. My watch went off, letting me know. And if you have, depending on the size you make them, right now I'm making them a little big. You could probably fit four in a square skillet.
Ah, okay.
Mm-hmm. So boom, this is our finished product. For those that can see, it's on my spatula in front. But you see that it has the marks. Most likely it's golden, brown, or some type of color, the dough color. And now that I already have one already in my bag right here, I grab my plastic bag, flip it over my palm. Now I have a tortilla, I mean a pupusa, straight in my hand and straight
And you're
into.
all ready to start another one if you remember to set your timer for 2 minutes.
Yep, let's do it. Set a timer for 2 minutes.
Now, how do you serve these? What do you serve them with?
You serve them with the cortido. Some people like to put a little bit of tapatio on top of them, the ones that are Mexican descent, or if you want to put some spice in it. But there, it comes with a cabbage that you serve on top with a sauce also. That will be another episode for a future
Mhm.
later time.
Are there any special occasions that you serve these for?
Um, I used to do these for Christmas time when the house is cold, and I start cooking, and with the hot skillet and all that, it warms up the house. You know, I used to walk down when I used to go visit El Salvador when I was small. We would have to get the corn, get the crane of corn, and walk down the street. Well, down the street right there. Get to the machines where we get to spin the
Grind.
thing, get the corn, grind down, and then go back home, start mixing. So it was a whole steps that we had to go through over there in El Salvador. And I used to
I
visit
bet that
grandma.
tasted different and delicious though. That fresh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is completely fresh, you know what I mean, and all that.
Mm.
But yeah, so we got it going, and it's cooking right here. You might hear some sizzling because when you flatten it, it's gonna expose some of the cheese, some of the beans, so you're gonna get all that taste, all that goodness coming out. You know, some people like to put a little bit of salt on their flour to give it a taste. You know,
You can season them up the way you like them, I expect. Yeah.
yeah, I love them. That's one of my favorite foods. My other favorite food is it's a long recipe, but it's pretty good, man. And it's called panes rellenos, but that will be for some other time,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But right now, I got 2 minutes are up. That's what my watch is saying. I'm gonna repeat the timer because I'm gonna flip it. Boom. That's nice and flip there. Make sure it's in the thing. Yep, it's in the black skillet and it's cooking. Any questions, Alan and Sylvia?
Well, I'm just a little bit curious about how you tell when it's done exactly, other than the
It
time
gets more hard, Alan, in the surface.
experience, I guess, eh?
Well, the dough, you can feel it that it's doughy. Once it's cooked, it's firm. It doesn't change shape no more. You can feel it that it's a little more tough, a little more hard, more cooked. It's more
It
cooked.
starts off sticky and wet.
Yeah, it starts off sticky and wet, feeling like dough. But once it cooks, it gets firm like a cake would. You know, but this is
Okay.
flour corn flour, so it's gonna get a little more tougher, like a tortilla, like a cooked tortilla that somebody made fresh in front of you, something like that. I don't know if you ever had a tortilla made fresh and not bought at the store.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe there's a couple of really good restaurants down here that may make them fresh. I don't know, but
There's nothing like a fresh tortilla.
yeah, but I know, but I'm lazy. I buy them at the store.
I think Alan needs to get out and go to a pupuseria and get a pupusa.
I'm guessing if you really were like that thing with the making the papusas a little hard, you could buy just those tortillas in the store and load in the beans and the cheese and do it, right, Pedro? It would not be the same.
Wouldn't be the same.
Would it be the same because the tortillas are cooked? And how would you cook the cheese and get the cheese melted, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, the cheese would be melted in the middle if it's still hot, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So I'm preparing the third one to get it in there. Okay, and my timer's going off, so that means remove the first one we have. So I'm flattening the next one that I'm making on the plastic. And I didn't put a little bit of water so it wouldn't stick, so I hope it does not stick. So, bam. Now I gotta put another one there.
And Pedro, while you're doing that, I will share, because Alan kind of mentioned it, is you can actually use water or some type of liquid rather than oil to cook with.
Yeah, the water is mostly to so it won't get stuck in your hands and putting it in the dough to.
Oh yeah, I
make
get
the
it,
dough
but I'm like, for anything, if you're cooking grilling anything, you don't have to use butter or oil. You can actually use just water.
Yeah, I got you. And and I like to do that. I like to not put too much seasoning, not too much oil and stuff like that because of, trying to be a little healthy.
It absorbs the oil. Yeah, I realize that.
Pedro, would you like to take any questions from our audience if they have any? Pedro?
Yeah, I'll take some questions.
Okay, all right. Is there anyone who would have any questions? I'll meet you.
Any questions from our audience? Well,
that means Pedro described it really well.
You did a wonderful job with those. That's something I might like to try one day soon.
So you could make the ones that are bean and cheese, and you could serve it to people that eat meat and are vegetarians. So it's a food in between. If you make it with pork and stuff like that, you could grind it in the blender with the beans and the cheese and make it like a paste. Then you could grab it like it's refried beans and make them like that too. That's a little more complicated. I decided to make them with the bean and cheese a little simpler.
Can I ask a question? This is Luis.
Go ahead, Luis.
Okay, so this is my first time, but I have a question, Pedro. So,
yes.
Considering that you're using like corn flour, could you, instead of using your hands, can you use one of the the gadgets that are on the market to flatten the tortilla to make it flat instead of kind of using your hands and it gets all sticky and all of that?
Well, I don't want to say no and I don't want to say yes because you're making a tortilla. It might want to flatten it way like a tortilla. This is not flat like a tortilla. It's almost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let me flip this one, guys. And then I slide my spatula under, make sure that the pupusa is in the middle. Then I just flick at the wrist, just flip it, and it lands on the same spot, guys. I could do it with my eyes closed, and that's what I'm doing right now. Yep, and then I got another one ready to go when that one's done. And this one is more bigger. The pupusas are more bigger and rounder, to tell the truth, but you can make them like regular tortilla size, so they won't be too big. You know. Let me take my.
Pedro,
Yes.
Cheryl wants to know, Cheryl wants to say, can you hear?
I can hear you, but say something, Cheryl.
Okay. He said, can you Uber eat her one of those pupusas?
I already got one,
That's
2, 3,
awesome.
4 right here.
That's funny.
Hey, maybe we go to your house, Cheryl. You got a flat skillet. I'm down to do them. I'm down to do
Sounds like quite an offer.
Mm-hmm.
Did you when you did the filling, so did you mix your cheese and beans ahead of time in the blender, or you just mixed them together? And
No, this time I refried the beans. I cooked them and then I put them in a bowl, and from there I got the shredded cheese and put it and start mixing it and keep putting and start mixing depending on how much cheese you want. I put the whole bag because I want it kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
And from there, once it cooks, the cheese melts when the pupusa is cooking. So I didn't put the cheese in the pot with the beans because it would have melted cheese, you know.
Right.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm waiting as we're waiting. Any questions from the audience? As I'm waiting to flip this pupusa.
Yes. Do we have any other questions from anybody in our audience today?
I'm not sure if you can hear me. This is Rainwater. Can you add meat to it?
Yes, you could add meat. You could add chicharrón, is what they call like pork skin in a way. You could fry the pork and chop it up, and then grind it down in the blender with the meat, with the beans mixed together. That's what they call a revuelta, pupusa revuelta. It has cheese, beans, and chicharrón. You know?
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, thank you.
You could probably even put some ground beef in it. You can try something new, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
How about some chorizo?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
That'd be dope. That'd be
Hey.
dope.
Hey, Pedro.
Yes.
This is for Chandra. I was calling and I'm enjoying your show. So much so that I would like to ask if you could please bring some of those to the meeting Saturday.
Yeah, Pedro.
We'll have to
you cannot even say no.
We're gonna need a bigger pan, make a few more of those.
You know, for us foodies in the house.
Maybe so for Chandra, maybe so. We gotta see. It has to be planned ahead of time so I could get it and make enough for everyone. Yeah.
Well, just so you know, I can bring I have an electric skillet. I can bring.
I have two.
I'll see you there.
All right, we'll plan it.
I got two of them. I'll help make those.
All right.
Mine are both nice sizes too.
Yes,
I
as y'all can see, I got
like,
around.
well, if y'all join me in making them, y'all can make some at home and bring them and divide up.
Yeah, show me how to do it.
how
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, Pedro. I love learning new stuff.
Yeah, I got the last one too that I'm about to throw in there. This one is a huge one. There it goes. It's in there. But I got some cooked here. As you can see, for those that can see, I have them right here. Hey, I might take a bite of one. I don't know. But they smell so good. Man. Renee, you want to describe the colors for them? So after they're done?
Yes, it's like a light yellowish beige, And one of them has a little bit of the bean and cheese peeking through on the edge. And then one on the bottom is like very nice. It's got some like, the brown griddle buns on them. So they are very picturesque. We got good housekeeping coming out to shoot those.
Pedro, it sounds like you got quite a fan club out there.
Thank you.
Well, I'd love to try some of these one day soon. They sound really great. I think I put a little meat in mine.
Yeah, just right now, I didn't put all the chicharrón, the pork. I would have made some of those. It's just I'm staying a little bit away from the meat right now, especially pork.
Yeah, I do understand, but it does have good flavor too.
Yes, it does, and it does make the pupusas have a good flavor also. Because when you're cooking them, and the chicharrón is ground down, it puts out a little bit of oil, the grease from the chicharrón, so it stays within the pupusa and stuff like that, and tastes good. So I got the last one cooking, guys. This one is a little extra large. And
It's a little bit thicker because they have other stuff in them. Then you just need to cook them a little bit longer, right?
Yes. Plus the pork, the grinded pork and all that needs to be cooked before.
Right, you need to be pre-cooked, yes.
Yeah, it needs to be pre-cooked. You cannot just do it raw. You need to pre-cook it, chop it up. You don't have to cook it all the way because the cooking in the stove will cook some of it too, but it has to be almost completely cooked. And if you like it well done, you can cook it all the way. Yep. And I made around 6, 7, and I still have beans if I wanted to make more. If I wanted to make another batch, and I still didn't even. I had a half bag of corn flour right here. Maseca is what I'm using. All right, and I didn't even use half to make these, and it's around 5 to 6 or 7 that I made.
So he has plenty of supplies left for Saturday.
Not the beans, just the masa. Okay, now I got a big one. Boom, it's flipped. You hear the sizzling of the skillet. And then I touch the top. Oh yeah, that one's cooked.
It doesn't take all that long to make a few of them, especially if you had a little bigger pan.
Yeah, if I had a little bigger pan, I could probably put 2 or 3 in there. If I had a square one, I could make them decent size and put 4 and make 4 at a time. And real quick, you will have 8, then 12, You'll
have enough for the meeting on Saturday.
Maybe so. I think it's more than just 8, 10 people. That'd be nice. I got to plan it out with my chapter.
Pedro, do you ever make your frijoles? Do you ever make them like from scratch, from the hard beans, and maybe in a slow cooker?
Yeah, I make them actually on the stovetop with I put some garlic, a little putanico as a seasoning for chicken. I put some of that. I chop up some onions and I put it in there. Sometimes I put a chili. What I noticed, the chili makes it last longer. Meaning, if you refrigerate your beans, they will still be good a few days later, and just to give it a little spicy flavor, and then take it out, because if you serve it to someone, oh wow, you know what I mean? Even with the jalapenos in the beans,
Yeah.
Well, there's an idea, some jalapenos.
Yeah, even in the pupusas, you could put a little bit of jalapeno juice within the beans or in the masa, and in the flour, and then cook them like that and have a little spicy pupusa. And this one is
so you can be creative.
Yeah, to your liking. That one I turned it extra. Whoa, I punctured it
Oh, no, some of the beans are leaking out?
a little bit. They're cooking outside because I made it pretty thin. You don't want to make them too thin. But it's cooking and it's going, and we're still gonna eat it.
So some of the things I've heard you share, some of the adaptive strategies are definitely using your hands to cook. And that's a great strategy when you can't see, but you can use that strategy when you can see too. And I love the strategy of using the Ziploc to shape the tortilla or the pupusa, either one, because that's a really good idea. And yeah.
Yeah, it
A little
helps
bit of
me.
flour on your hand.
Yeah, you get a little bit of flour. That's why I keep a
So it
paper
doesn't
napkin
stick.
or a washcloth next to you, so you can clean up your hands before you touch other stuff.
Yeah.
And the Ziploc bag, you know, my mom was like, "This, I think this will work for you." I've done them like this, and it's easier when you're on the go and you need to cook a lot of them. But she said, since you're blind, I think this could be good for you. She done them other ways when she puts the dough inside a Ziploc bag and she cuts the little corner and then she squeezes it out. She's done it like that before, so you won't get your hands dirty.
Yeah.
But like this, you could just cut the Ziploc bag, put it right on flat on the counter, and shape the tortilla. And then when you're done, you just pick up the Ziploc bag and flip it on your palm, and then put it on the skillet.
Yeah.
Makes it easy, yes.
Makes it easy, yeah. Makes it easy, you know, and easy to shape also.
Those are some
Now it makes me wonder if you could use like a paper plate too.
Maybe so.
Flexible enough.
I've seen that before. Somebody get a flat top from a car and put it like that. I see that before also.
Cool.
Yeah, and this one is about to be done. My timer's still going, so I'm not even gonna take it out yet. Let it be cooked all the way. This one, I think it didn't pop open, but it's the cheese that's all over the dough. And my mouth is watering already.
You're on a gas stove, is that right?
Yes, this is a gas stove.
Okay.
Pedro asking for some friends here. Do they freeze like until Saturday?
Can you freeze them?
I don't know how dough will freeze and how would it be affected becoming a solid and then these being thawed out and the ice crystals from the water that's in the masa. I don't know if it's gonna crack it or what's gonna do, if there's gonna become cracks on it. So true, because it's flour, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Also, guys, this has been another episode cooking with good looking.
I always like the sequel, Eating Without Seeing.
Hey, even good, even better. But yeah, guys, any questions from the audience and on strategies or a question on how I cut the Ziploc bag or why do we need it or how many bowls do I have? Why, you know, stuff like that.
Or any questions about Blind United? You guys
even Saturday. Even about Blind United, the things we do, the programs we have for free for anyone trying to learn JAWS, anyone trying to do some extracurricular extra activities. I get tongue twisted sometimes, guys, but we got like crocheting, we got movie night, we got JAWS for your windows if you want to learn. I teach a technology class on iPhones and Mac and other technology that I find interesting, you know. And then we also have a live that we do 9 a.m. every Monday through Friday, and we talk about topics and articles that we have on, and we talk about those topics and give our opinions. But you know, that's Coffee Time with Blind United weekdays on YouTube, Facebook, you know.
How do we find out information again about Blind United?
You
On
can
YouTube and
you can
Facebook?
send us an email at info@blindunited.org. You can find us on YouTube on Coffee Time with Blind United, and on Facebook, our page is Blind United. You can find us on Facebook and those. But info@blindunited.org is more better. You could get a reply and all that, so you could reach us there.
And I'm sure that Renee will have all that information available through our website too.
Yes, we do.
Again, thank you very much, Pedro. Those sound absolutely excellent. And the best of luck with Blind United and your meeting Saturday. Sounds like you're going to be the chef. Sylvia.
Or not.
Sylvia,
He doesn't show
before
up.
we go, I hear you have something very special coming up.
Well, and it's interesting because Pedro's culture is from El Salvador, and I am going to be going to Honduras through an organization that also works with El Salvador called Share Foundation, and I'm going to be going and spending 10 days in Honduras working with a Center for Independent Living there, doing a train the trainer, working with their instructors on how to teach people who are blind or low vision how to be independent and cook and clean and read braille and all those things. So it's pretty exciting, but I think it's really interesting that they also work with El Salvador. Those are the two countries they work with. So
oh wow.
Wow.
Kind of an interesting connection. Well, Sylvia, good luck with your trip, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And thank those of you in our audience for joining us today on the Cooking Without Looking Winter 2025 edition. If you would like today's recipes, as well as any past recipes, please go to our website at www.cookingwithoutlookingtv.wordpress.com. Sylvia?
And if you'd like to enjoy today's show or past shows, go to the Cooking Without Looking YouTube channel.
Hey, Sylvia, people who teach students who are blind and partially sighted can use any of our shows for their students at no charge.
That's right, Ellen. There are many teachers around the country and in over 75 countries who are using Cooking Without Looking to teach their clients.
And Sylvia, our viewers can also check out our Cooking Without Looking podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or anywhere you get your favorite podcasts. We're also available on all Alexa-enabled devices and Victor Reader. Sylvia?
And we appreciate any donations to Cooking Without Looking through Vision World Foundation to help us in the mission to change the way people see blindness. To do this, you can go to, again, the website, www.cookingwithoutLooking.wordpress.com and click on the link at the top of the page.
Or for more information, you can call area code 305-200-9104. And everyone can look for our next show in February, Sylvia. Thank you so much for hosting with me today.
Thank you, Alan. And hopefully next month, all of our viewers will be able to see your handsome face. I know I can't, but I just imagine it's handsome. And we'll both have on our cool Cooking Without Looking apron. So I'm just going to put a little reminder to go and donate at least $35 and you get a Cooking Without Looking apron. I am Sylvia Stinson Perez, and on behalf of Alan Preston and Renee Rentmeester, and all of us at Cooking Without Looking and Vision World Foundation, we thank you for joining us today and hope that you stay warm and cozy. Bye.
Bye.
Now we get to play the fun music again. And happy birthday, Renee.
Oh, yes.
Happy birthday, Renee.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday, Renee.
everyone.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Renee. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
You wanna see what we do best? We got the recipe for success. We don't need sight to make something good tonight. We're owning